thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time.
I'm very happy to be here. And
Yeah.
since I know the struggles, if I can help, the better.
Thank you so much. It was I'm very thankful, and the way you're approaching it is also very nice for me, and I'll be very grateful for you until for a long time. And so I found your Instagram because I was checking some related stuff to Arabs and so on. And you were one of the first person that pops up in my recommendation on Instagram. And I checked your video and I saw that you always talk about Tunisia in a very funny way, but also you put stereotypes and you try to put it in a, in a better aspects. And I found something very interesting because today we've seen how being Arabs can be shameful for some people. We've seen the rise of extreme right movements, far right movements, and we've seen politics and politicians using Muslims, Arabs as a way to point fingers at and legitimizing some of their actions. And I was like, let's try to find someone that can talk very lightly and very also profoundly about being Arab and how proud you can be of your identity as someone living in the West. And that was also something that made me want to open Voices in Mosaic. So I feel like why not talking to people that, the media and politics are trying to change their vision of who they are. And so, yeah, that's pretty much how I was able to say, okay, let's talk with you. And I was praying that you will be able to answer positively for that. And I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, thank you for that. Actually, it's very funny that you see my content that way because usually I receive many positive comments. I'm very lucky. I don't get a lot of shade, even though sometimes I do share skeptical content, like content that can create a little bit of, you know, an issue. Um, because yes, I talk very lightly about Tunisia, and I talk about some experiences that I have been going through or experiences that I see others happening to. And the one comment that I always get that is kind of negative is, why are you sharing this about Tunisia? Why aren't you sharing the good stuff only? And most of all, why are you sharing that in English? And because people want to hide the bad stuff usually, and that's true. Like they always teach us to not share like the negative aspects, but it's the most relatable aspects. It's the things that nobody will talk about. And if we go to like general content on Instagram or social media in general, when it comes to other cultures, when they share about their bad experiences, they just get all of the support from the world, saying, yes, I lived the same thing, I went through the same thing. While in our countries, they're like, no, we cannot share that, or people will just think we are like a third world country, which we are,
Yeah.
but like for the UN, which I work for, Tunisia is considered a third world country, which is crazy because we are very well developed. But still, it's um, it's just funny that you see that my content is light and funny, but still talking positively about Tunisia, because sometimes people just see like only the negative stuff that I talk about, and they forget that like one of out of 10 videos is about like something relatable but still a little bit bad, and the other 10 videos are about me encouraging people to go to Tunisia or saying like Tunisia is the best country in the world.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it's thank you for noticing that I always talk like in a good way about Tunisia, but sometimes it's just like the experiences that we live there, like lack. Oh, I remember that when I shared a video about the lack of water, there was this huge lack of water in big cities, not like in the southern or in the countryside. And everyone went mad. They were like, why are you sharing this? People will think that we have no water, but we don't. So why aren't you sharing about this? Why are you letting the government fool you into thinking that you should hide this? So it's always tricky to talk about topics like these, but I'm very lucky. Like I get very little bad comments, and usually they're very good. So um, I don't really think about what the West thinks about us. I'm the West. I was born and raised outside of Tunisia, so I'm the West, and I lived both sides. And if I had, at the end of the day, if I had to choose which side I'm on their side. So, so that's all they actually need. Like, if I have to hide all the bad stuff just because I mean, politicians already think whatever they want to think, and regimes already think whatever they want to think. So it's not my opinion that it's going to change theirs, or their opinion is not going to change my content. But for sure, if like the biggest proof that that country deserves a mention and deserves to be seen and lived is the fact that I was born and raised in Italy, and I still choose to go there every time and every day.
Yeah, I do like the way you're approaching things because I was raised in France. I was born in Nigeria, but I immediately went to France. So I grew up in the West as well. And I've seen that both sides of the the coin. And so the way you're trying to share the good things and the bad things, it's part of a culture. It's still okay to share that because everything is not only always perfect. You talk about water, it's not only something that I can see in Tunisia. I can see it also in Algeria, where you have to go to the well to bring water and then to put it into the heater part to make sure that the water will boil and you can just wash yourself with this and so on. So it's something that is part of our culture and ourselves, and all it's because we lack some development when it comes to government issue, water, water spreading and so on. So it's not always bad to talk about it. It's also a way to raise awareness about something that we say we're used to it, but we should not be that used to because it's something that has to be taken care of. And so putting it in a very funny, light mood can also show that we're not ashamed of this. It's just also a way to say we're happy with that because we create memories and souvenirs from that. But also, why are we saying okay to something that should not be okay when in the West you just turn on the water and the water is here, and then when you turn it down, the water will still come back. So I do like the way you're talking about this, and yeah, we're perceived as a third world country, even though we don't see it like that because we're well developed, but it's also the way that politicians and history has also tried to portray us like that. And so it's always difficult to understand why the West say this when we don't try to dig deeper into what is the reason for being perceived that way. And so it's here when it comes all politics and international law and so on. Of course, we're developed. Of course, we're better than what we used to be in the past. And we should not consider what the West think of us because we know who we are and we know how our country are and developed. So we should not be affected by this. And when I say that I really wanted to create a narrative that is not westernized, is the way that, for instance, me being French and Algerian, sometimes I'm lost into my two identities. I do see myself French, like I do see myself Algerian, but sometimes French do not see me as French because I have another identity, and Algerian doesn't see me as Algerian because I don't speak properly the language. I'm just the French girl coming back to the country, so it's always like, whoa, okay, so how can I see that? And I was like, let's talk about this. Let's talk about our experience. It's amazing because we're not the only one thinking that way. So there's so many people that do feel that they have a double identity and they have to mix it to fit in different standards. And the way you portrayed in your video, I was like, oh, it's interesting. Like all the men are toxic because they're mama's boy. But I'm like, it's a fact because we can see it in our culture that men tends to be much more well brought, like loved, care, all the men is the best. And so it's funny, and we should not always see the bad side as a bad side because it's also part of who we are, and it's also a way to raise awareness in a very funny and humorous way.
Yes, well, I do realize that some content I share sometimes looks a little bit like rage baiting. The thing is, if I go straight, like I create content for who follows me, and who follows me at the end of the day is like 90% girls.
Yeah.
So of course I'm gonna share like a video saying that talking to a man sometimes feels like talking to a wall because girls will relate to that. And if I will see a bad comment in that comment section, I know that it's gonna be a man that doesn't follow me, that is complaining about something that should not touch him. Like if you don't feel like you're the type of person, why are you even commenting on this? But that being said, about the being Tunisian, Italian, which one I feel more, it's complicated, and I understand that. I When I was little, I always preferred saying, "Hey, I'm Italian."
Oh, the same.
If I had to choose, I would say I'm Italian. If I walk down the street and somebody like stops me or asks me, "Hey, where are you from?" I'm gonna say I'm Italian, just because I already know what's the next question gonna be. Like I know that they only asked for me to tell them, yes, I have Tunisian origins, or I'm Tunisian, or Arab anyhow. Like yesterday, I was at Hermes, and the shop, like the shop assistant was like, "Where are you from?" And I told him, I'm from Italy. I'm from here. Like this is my home city. And he was like, "No, but where are you from?" And at the moment, I was like, I'm trying to shop here, and you're asking me where I'm from when I already replied where I'm from, and you want to know my origins? Why? Because in that case, yes, I prefer saying I'm Italian just because I want to prove them that they are the bad part, that they are doing something wrong. Like asking me something twice, even if I replied, you're the bad guy here. And then, yes, I told him, yes, I have Tunisian origins, but I mean, my first nationality is the Italian nationality. So I cannot, like, I'm not lying when I'm saying that I'm Italian. And then, like, something very weird happened at work. I started working 5 years ago in at the UN, and I keep working there. Like, same team, same people, same friends. And we were talking, like, having lunch, and this guy was like, "Oh, but maybe you don't understand about this food because you're not Italian, so you don't understand like how we live this food." And I was like, because they were talking about raw meat. We in this
Yeah.
particular regional area, like region, we eat raw meat, which I hate. I hate the consistency, the taste. I hate it. And I told him, no, I hate it. It's awful. And he's like, yeah, but you're not Italian. That's why you don't understand. I mean, if you grow up here, you probably would like it. And I turned to him and I was like, what are you talking about? I'm Italian. I was born and raised here. And my dad is an Italian chef. Like he cooks Italian food. He's a Tunisian chef, but his specialty is Italian traditional food. And he was like, what do you mean you're Italian? You always share about being Tunisian. I'm like, yeah, it's my double nationality, but I grew up here. I was raised here. He's like, then why are you sharing about being Tunisian? I was like, because I am. He was like, but
Oh, yeah.
are you Italian or Tunisian? I was like, what? I'm both. What am I supposed to say? In those cases, I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Like, am I one or the other? But it's just I'm both. I'm a
Yeah.
little bit of both. Yes, when I go to Tunisia, they do make fun of my accent because it's like a mix of different. I grew up a little bit with my cousins in Bizerte, a little bit with my mom's side, like in Monastir. Maybe you don't know them. A little bit with my dad, with like Kairouan. It was a mix of accents and stuff. And I learned Tunisian first, then I forgot it, then I like relearned it. It was so even when I go there, they're like, "Oh, but you're Italian." But no, I'm not. Now I get the "you're Italian" a lot less because they're like, "Oh no, you're one of us. You're."
Oh.
Since like I've been growing up and I started going there regularly, and they saw how much I enjoyed going there and the fact that I keep looking forward to the time being there. They're like, "Oh no, you're one of us. It's okay."
I like that. Yeah,
But
I like your experience is different because when it comes to me, they don't see it as I'm Algerian very quickly. They just think that I'm French. And so
how
when they
long do you go there? Like
so
how
when I'm talking of France, I will go to Algeria. Algeria is different. When I go to when I talk to French people, they never see that I'm Algerian. Never. Like they don't believe that I look Algerian. So which is something that raised the point. I'm like, what do I look like? So I'm like, for me, I look like I'm part of my country, but at the same time, they do believe that if you're from Algeria, you should be a bit darker, not too white. And they always say, yeah, you don't look Arab. I'm like, you have to be careful on the way you're talking about that because there's not only Arabs, there are also other ethnicities, and I'm not even Arab. I'm a Mazir, so it's different. And then they're like, yeah, but similar to Arabs because you're part of an Arab country. And I'm like, it's not the same. And then they don't want to ask deeper about the difference. And I'm like, it's okay. I can't change your mentality. But every time they never believe that I'm Algerian. It's only when I show them that I have both passports or when they see my place of birth, they're like, oh, so you're Algerian. And then the question that they ask are kind of similar when it comes to the raw meats. It's like, so, but it's a bit more vicious in a sense that, so what do you think about, French in Algeria? Or what's your relationship with Algeria and France? And I'm like, it's not something that should ask me because for sure I'm going to answer to you in a way that's I do geopolitical analysis. So I will answer to you in a very researcher minded, but at the same time, of course, I'm going to say that there's so many things that France has done wrong. And today they're still doing it wrong. But when I'm talking about the fact that I'm Algerian, we have to go into politics and talk about something that, it's not even recognized in France. And so they say, yeah, it's weird because when I talk to Algerian, they don't look like you. They don't speak you speak without an accent in French. And I'm like, yeah, because I was brought up in France. So my first language is French. And also my parents do speak French. So it's you should know that French is also part of our language. And so whenever I say that, they're like, yeah, but well, at least you're much more integrated to the Republic because you look like us. And I'm like, and so I feel ashamed when they say you do look like us because I'm like, I do look like me. I am me before saying that I look like a French person or I look like an Algerian person. And I'm like, so you expect me to look so different? And if I looked Arab in your eyes, would I be integrated to the French Republic? And so they say, oh, but you get it what I mean. And then they stop talking about that. And so I'm like, whoa, so I don't know what to feel. And so it's true that most of the times when I was a kid, I always said I was French. I prefer saying that I was French than saying that I was Algerian. And I don't know if it was the same for you whenever we go to class and we had to talk about colonialism and they say Algeria, they will all look at me like right now I'm Algerian. And then when we finish talking about Algeria, then I'm back to only being French. And so I'm like, whoa. So I don't know where to stand. And now when I apply for jobs, before having this one, they always ask, are you binational? Because they've seen on my paper that I'm born in Algeria. I say, yeah, I am. And they say, okay, so for some security reasons, we cannot accept you to work with us. And I was like, I'm French. I should be able to work with you because I am also I am French educated. I was brought up in France. They say, yeah, but you do have another citizenship that show that maybe you would not be that secretive when it comes to that. And in the job, it's not even secret secret services. It's like normal jobs. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. Yeah, you're not that French enough to make us accept you. And I was like, oh, okay. So what should I do? And so when
Lie.
yeah. And so the thing is, one day I did try to lie, girl, and I was shocked because the guy was testing my loyalty. He said, "What do you think about Charles de Gaulle?" And I was like, Charles de Gaulle was the president. He was brought to be president because he had to take care of the Algerian issue because of the putsch and so on, and the fact that Algeria was about to go into civil war of independence. They had to bring him. And so he was he's one of the most loved French president in France, but I hate him for this particular reason because he allowed a lot of torture acts in Algeria during the War of Independence. And he turned a blind eyes when it comes to torture and so on. And a lot of my family members died because of his orders. And he helped France to get out of German occupation, but when it comes to Algeria, it was different. And so they said, "What do you think of him? Do you think he brought culture to your country? What do you like? What do you like about Charles de Gaulle?" And I was like, "Okay, so what should I say?" Because I was lying, and right now he asked me this one question. So I said, "He's a good French president for France." So yes, but Algeria was France, right? I was like, "Oh my God, what should I go?" And so I was like, "Okay, can we not answer this question anymore? I feel like it's not even part of the question process." And I said, "Okay, thank you very much." And the very next day, he was like, "I'm sorry, but we cannot accept you because you don't fit the standard of the company." And I was like, "Okay, so thank you for this." And so when I go to Algeria, it's been a long time since I haven't come back, and I'm planning to go back in October. But this time I'm trying to go without any family members because I really want to visit by myself with my own eyes and not too biased sometimes with your family opinion about your country. And so the last time that I went back there, you will say, "Oh my gosh, that's hard. That's a long time." It's been 10 years since I haven't came back in Algeria. 10 years. So I do remember that when I went, they were talking to me. They all tried to talk to me in French. And I'm like, it's okay, but I do understand my two language, Arabic and Amazigh. I understand them perfectly. But answering, it's a problem. I cannot answer. So I was trying to mix French with my two language in the same sentence, but I have this French accent when I speak. And sometimes they were like, "Oh yeah, let's just speak French." And so I was like, "Okay, I need to stop talking and let me go back to French." And so there was this distance because of the fact I was not able to answer in the language. But I understand. And so sometimes they were talking to each other and I was like, "Yeah, I understand what you want to do, but how can I answer to you in the language?" So I was just answering in French. And so, yeah, and that's why I've been seen as the French girl mainly when I go to Algeria. And right now I'm learning Arabic again with my mom. And I do now know how to read it, so it's amazing. I'm like progressing. But right now I'm trying to be able to be fluent for October.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I understand why they talk about you as the French girl. Let me tell you, whenever you'll be able to speak with them in their own language, you'll magically become, no, you're Algerian. And I can see that with so the main difference with Tunisians in Italy and Tunisians in France is that Tunisians in France, even though they just grow up there and they aren't born there, their parents will talk to them in French. And when they come to Tunisia, they will use French as the main language. And in Italians, the majority of them will talk to them in Arabic or Tunisian. So whenever they see like Italians in Tunisia, it's usually, "No, you're Tunisian because
Oh.
you're talking my language." And whenever they see French people, they're like, "Oh my God, these parents, they keep talking to their children in French. Why are they doing this? They're losing the culture." So that's probably the main difference. But I have been going to Tunisia since I was a child every year. Like that's also the difference. I have never stopped going. Even when my parents couldn't go, they would just ship me there. They would just send me there to my aunts and my uncles to stay with them like throughout the entire summer. So I never lived like an Italian summer, probably a couple times. That's it. But when it comes to like the job, just lie. But don't even mention Algeria. Just and I'm lucky. I'm actually applying to jobs with my Tunisian nationality because in my job field, the fact that I come from a third world country is more relevant than coming from the West. So since they have some targets of like different people, having different people in the team from different cultures, I'm a very lucky person in that sense. Even for my master, they told me apply to your master with your Tunisian citizenship so you can pay 50% less. I was like, but I'm in Italy and I was born and raised here. And they were like, but if you want to pay 50% less, use your Tunisian citizenship. If nobody else is gonna have that scholarship,
Yeah.
it's better if I have it. But
That's funny. Sorry,
yeah.
because it's different for us in France.
No, but it's not.
Yeah, it's funny
In this
because
case, it's just the job field, like my field. It's
yeah,
not.
you
But in
yeah,
Italy, if I had to apply to a job in Italy, I would not mention my Tunisian citizenship,
yeah,
not for the end of the world,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's just how we are perceived. So
Yeah, that's the same. That's why I'm saying it's different because I've my field is international relations, and so many doors were closed because of the fact that I was also Algerian, and so many NGOs here. That was what shocked me the most because when I was studying in my master, they were like, "You should use your binationalities to make sure to apply for this." I've applied to the UN, and I did also went to the process of selection, and it stops because they were like, "Yeah, but the thing is." And that where it triggers me a lot is that you don't have that much of Algerian to share. And I was like, what do you mean? And it says it's because you like the ability to speak. And so that's where it closed me doors. And so I've been applying, and I swear I had like 1,000 of applications related to my field. And out of them, I was refused for so many of them because I was not fitting their standards when it comes to being who I am. And so one of them was willing to answer to me something to say if we don't know what to say, but we have plenty of things to say. So it was interesting. And for Amazon, thank you for this. It's a language that that was actually my first language up until after that it disappeared because French became the other language. But my parents speaks to me in this language firstly. And so the thing is why it's complicated to learn how to speak it. It's just the fact that there is a lot of like similarity with French because of how it was used during French occupation. But yeah, I'm trying to win back at it and to learn back the language. So yeah, I'm trying both of them, Arabic and Amazigh, and I hope that I will be able to be fluent into both of the language soon.
I'll go for it. It's very beautiful that you're doing that. And as for the French, it's yes, it is normal that some languages are getting a bit lost. I wouldn't say Tunisian is getting lost, but if you ask me like to mention the names of the months in Arabic, I would have no clue. And I'm
Yeah.
fluent. So I would only know them in French. So that's common for all like the languages of North African people. It's just
Yeah.
colonization. It's okay.
Exactly. And so, my questions for you, one of them that I want to know more about you, in the fact that, you said that you were born in Italy and you were brought up in Italy. What part of your culture did you keep with you, that you use and continue today, in Italy? And also, how do you mix your Italianness and your Tunisianness when you mix both of the culture into it?
So it's gonna be a cliche. For Italy, I'll keep the food.
I get it.
The food is like a very big cultural issue that I have. Like my husband is Moroccan, so he loves Moroccan food. And in Tunisia, I love Tunisian food. But if I had to choose between Tunisian food and Italian food, I'm sorry, Italian would win over. But it's just because it's so varied. And the main issue we have all the time we go to Tunisia, we are a fast food country. We are the China of like Africa. We are
Okay.
the Chinese of Africa. So our food, main food, is street food. And we eat out a lot because it's cheap. It's cheaper to eat out than to cook and feed 10 people in the house. So we are very big on street food. We are also big on main plates like pasta. Like Tunisian pasta is second in the world after Italian, and also couscous. I prefer Tunisian couscous to Moroccan couscous, but he has his own opinion. I have mine. But food, like we don't eat vegetables. We don't in Tunisia. We don't eat enough vegetables, and it's a struggle we have. Whenever I go there, that's what I keep from my Italian culture, like having a varied diet, eating healthier. Um, so that's one thing for sure that I'll keep. And since like there's a say about Italians that they cannot go in a place without talking about food, and that's so true. I talk about food all the time. Like when I eat, I watch videos of people eating food around the world. That's how much I'm connected to food. If I have to go some places, the first thing I do is like turn YouTube on and watch what to eat.
I do
So,
the same. I do the
so
same.
that's my Italian side popping up. And from my Tunisian side, I just like I've seen my Tunisian side as just a nationality for the longest time. And then when I grew up, I was like the weddings, the family, the the culture, even the religion. Like it's all part of like little things that I take with me all the time. So yes, those for the Italian side, it's mainly the food, honestly.
Yeah, I do. I understand. Italian food is amazing. I even here in Paris, if I want to go somewhere where I know I'm going to eat well, I would just go to an Italian restaurant. They have the best food. I like it. Like when I say that, they're like, "Yeah, what about French? French is good when it comes to pâtisserie, viennoiserie, but that's it. After that, don't ask me for French food. It's bland. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
I I've been
No,
to Paris a couple years ago, and it was hard finding a good spot to eat food. It was hard.
yeah,
Uh,
no.
yeah,
I'm eat ethnic food when it comes to France, but don't French food is not my favorite. I don't like it at all. And that's why I do join you when it comes to traveling. I do like eating other culture food, but I do miss sometimes my cheese. I'm like, I love the cheese. I miss the cheese. I ate cheese in different countries. Italian was really like French is here, Italian is right here. Like I love the Italian cheese too. And so whenever I go somewhere, I will be like, I do miss the cheese and the baguettes, and that will be amazing. And then that's the French side of me that pops up. It always only pops up about like food many times, or also arts. I do love going to good museum and so on, and I do also respect the fact that we have a good art display and so on. History is very beautiful when you go to Paris, and that's something that whenever I travel, I'm like, yeah, but the street of Paris can be very pretty because we see the impact of arts. But also, when I went to Italy, Italy does have an amusing artistic landscape. And I remember that when I went to Rome and to Napoli, the first thing that I said was, okay, we have a good rivals when it comes to like art display and in Italy and was Paris. And I loved it the most. And so yeah, I do get it. And when you talk about your Tunisian side, that's the same for me. I keep like it's first I saw it only as an origin and that's it. But right now I also with the way my parents brought me up and so on, I do have like the tradition, the religion, but also the way that we will like yeah, tradition when it comes to respect the elders, the way you talk to people. You know, when you go to someone's place, you always look at your mom to see if you can eat the food that is on display. I do keep that. And even today, right now, even though I'm like 26, I will always say, oh no, thank you. I'm used to I'm used to doing this because it's part of me in a sense. It's how I was also brought up. And yeah, it comes also with the religion and the weddings that I've been to. They're amazing. And I know that we North Africans do a lot of good weddings. Like we're the best when it comes to that. People always say, "Yeah, no, we're the best," but still, in North African,
Well,
we're good.
I think we're only second to Lebanese wedding because
Yeah. Yes,
they're
true.
like I don't
Yeah,
know, but we're getting close.
yeah, we're close to them. It's
I don't
okay.
like it though. I don't like it. It's too big. It's like making a movie all the time.
Yeah,
It's way too big in my opinion. I wanted something small for mine.
yeah.
So, but yeah, the comparison to like these huge things that happen. I shared a video about like Arab. I don't remember exactly what was the caption, but I said, of course you're North African if you have a small wedding of like 100 plus people, or no, 200 plus people. And a girl was like, no, girl, I had a small wedding and I had 400 people invited. I don't know who made you think that was a small.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's your cousin, and you never know that you had this much of cousin from abroad or uncles. I'm like, whoa. And so when you see all of that, you're like, yeah, we do. That's where it's at. We have like small wedding compared to Lebanese when it comes to presentation. But the vibe is so like we're crazy. It's like similar to the Egyptian wedding. We are crazy when it comes to the dance floor, celebration, and so on. Whereas in other is more like it's crazy, but in more like, you're just being polite and so on. And I'm like, yeah, that's the difference here.
Yeah, no, it's but the big families, for example, my family, I know all of them, and we're huge. Like only from my side, it was 100 people, just because we
Whoa.
are that close. If
Mashallah.
if you count like just me and my cousins, we're 23 cousins, and we're very close. Like we talk to each other daily, and so if we're 23 cousins, if you add the parents to each of them, we're already 50.
Yeah,
So.
that's enough.
It's crazy. I do love, yeah, my Tunisian side, it's mainly my family. If I go there, it's the seaside, of course. I love the sea, but it's also because of my family. We have a big family and we're very close to each other. So I do love going there also for them.
That's amazing. I'm very happy for you and mashallah for that. And so, you talked about your podcast. It's, if I'm not wrong, is a Tunisian abroad, right?
Yes.
So, what did inspire you to create this podcast?
So I was following a lot of Tunisians when I was like when I started, and they were all abroad. And I felt like I was the only one sharing experiences of people living abroad, but being like also Tunisians. The main difference that I realized was that they were born and raised in Tunisia, and then they moved when they grew up to the West or to Canada or whatever. So I was like, okay, let's collect some experiences from all over the world, experiences that people want to hear. So I took people that had a following on social media, people that were like known, and I asked them, hey, do you want to be part of this? And luckily enough, there are a lot of girls that just were willing to do it. But as I told you at the beginning, I know the struggles. I have so many girls, like gave me their phone numbers and then they disappeared. And I'm not a person that chases. Like if you don't want to be part of it, I'm not going to chase you. I have so many things to do. I cannot just go and chase you to and beg you to be part of my podcast. So, and actually, I have so many things to do that I cannot even record the podcast anymore, even though I would love to. I'd love to speak with people. Um, but I just don't have the energy for it at the moment anymore. And it takes a lot of energy. Even when I started with the Sabrine, which is another, like, she's a content creator. She's very nice. She just moved to Germany from Tunisia with her husband. And even with her help, it was so hard to get in touch with like people that were actually interested in participating. And you ask once and you ask twice, and then that's it. If at the third time these people said yes, but then they have like a million reasons not to participate, I was like, let's just stop it here because we both don't have the time. But yes, it's so I'm sorry if I let you wait a little bit for this. I
No, 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 don't
understand
worry.
the struggles, but yeah, you just caught me at a very weird timing. But
No,
usually
that's
I'm
all
very
right.
fast.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Don't worry. Actually, the difference between you and the others that let me attend by was that the way you approach things, it showed that you were being very polite and very nice with this, and you understood the struggle, and that's why your texts were reassuring, and it validated also the fact that I can wait. That's all right. Whereas the others is like, oh my God, yeah, it's interesting, let's do it. And then, okay, I'm available right now. Like, oh, I'm sorry, like 3 days ago, 3 days later, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available, but we can reschedule it. I'll just check my planning and I will call you back. And then it's been 2 months. And I'm like, okay, so it's okay. I'm not going to chase someone, I'm not going to run. If you are not going to answer to me like 2 times, then that's okay. I will just move on. It's just that in the other side, when you say yes and you give me your topic and ideas, I was working already on it. I was studying that. So that was where I was like, at least had the politeness to say, I'm sorry, I'm busy this month. Can we do it like maybe around March, April? I will be okay. At least I didn't work for nothing. And that was a difference because with you were very enthusiastic into doing it. You give me the time to work. You were able to review to overview the questions, even though you told me not right now, I will do it later. And I knew that you were about to do it because the way you brought things up, I was like, okay, I'm sure that she's going to check it out. And that's why I didn't also send you another text after. I like give you the time because I knew that you were about to come back and that we will be able
Yeah,
to fix the date. So
sorry.
that's all
It's
right.
just that December usually is like the month where I have to close stuff. And if I don't
That's
close it, the job is gonna get crazy. So that's why I took a little bit of time to reply. But no, it's usually I try to reply like to every single message. It's the least I can do. It's
Thank you.
honestly.
It changed. That's very nice. And that's why I'm very thankful for you. And I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to talk to you. And I really wish you and a lot of success for whatever you're doing because the way you're doing this and the way you're being so nice and polite and very humble, I'm like, yeah, I wish you to just succeed and go
Thank
further
you so
and
much.
reach your
Same.
dream. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say.
Go
Yes.
ahead.
I remember you said like people tell you that you don't look Algerian. For me, it was
Oh,
the opposite. So I grew up here, and actually, my mom doesn't look Tunisian. Like she's very light skinned, and she has been blonde for most of her life. So she never looked Tunisian. And for my brother, it was the same thing. And my father had even an Italian name. Like he when he came here to just mix up with the people. He used an Italian name. And then I was born, and I am the darkest in my family, like skin tone. So whenever I walk outside, even if I speak Italian, like nobody can even tell that I'm not Italian because I don't have an accent. It's just perfect. But you can tell that people can tell that I have other origins. So that's the main thing. I always grew up with like walking in the market and everyone would ask me, like also me and my mom, we have a 20 years age gap. And we used to look like sisters for a long time. So everyone was like, "Oh, you're friends, and she's your friend, Italian friend, and you're the Tunisian, like girl, Arab girl." I was like, "No, I'm not." Like it's always I'm either Moroccan or Latina. Nobody even thinks about Tunisia, honestly. But
Yeah.
that's the main difference between the two. Like maybe I was so close to my Tunisian side, also because people would not accept that I was Italian. So it was very weird. And then a couple of days ago at my mom's place, she had a couple of friends, and they were like, "But you look Italian. You don't look Arab." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I get the opposite comment all the time. Like if I go to my Instagram, it's either Latina or Moroccan. It's always one of
Yeah,
the
I
two.
want to know why they never give us like we look from where we are. Like,
Because
what should we look like?
they're ignorant and they don't know like that there are
Exactly.
differences.
Yeah.
I have blonde cousins. It's crazy. They just think that they know how people look all over the world, but they don't know nothing. So
Yeah,
I
but
just
that's
think
funny what you say because that's literally what we're going through. Like, I have so many friends that also said that would never give me Arab origins. I've been called Latina, like I've been called French, I've been called like Eastern Europe, I've been called like from all around the world. I've been said every country in South America, never, never, never Algeria. But at the end, I'm like, how are we perceived differently from one place to another? And that was like the question I really wanted to ask, and no one has the answer because you said ignorance, that's one of them. And I'm like, yeah, we should find another way because ignorance is like the biggest answer, but I feel like there is something else.
but I just remember that like my colleagues, which are like UN officials with the
Yeah.
UN passport, so like
Yeah.
you're a diplomat with a diplomat passport. One of them went to I think Iraq or Iran for like a mission, and he couldn't he had to go and renew his passport at the like US. No, he had to go to the US embassy to require a visa for the
Wow.
US, and it was like a room with like 5 US people, and he
Yeah.
was there and he was replying to their questions as if he was held by the police, like held by the police. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was like it was an empty room and they were asking me what I've been doing there. And I'm like, I went to work. There's a project, I have reports, I have stuff. So it's not like I went there for anything. It's tourism or to join like
Yeah.
a group or something. It was work and it was documented. And with a diplomat passport, he couldn't go to the US until they gave him the like passepartout. So
Okay.
it was very hard.
But yeah, so I love the discussion that we had.
Thanks, me
Thank you
too.
so much
Thank you
for
so
this.
much. And well, love the go children.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I really hope that we can keep in touch.
Of course.
Even talking, not only talking about that, but I really love talking about anything else. I love speaking, and I feel like you're an amazing person. So I wish
Thank
to
you.
also meet you one day in Italy, or if
Thank
you
you.
come to Paris, for instance, that'll be all right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
you have my contact, so feel
Thank you so
free.
much.
Thank
Have a
you again.
wonderful day.
If
Take
you
care.
ever plan to go to Tunisia, let me know. If you ever
I
plan
will,
to
for
come to
sure.
Northern Italy, let me know.
Of course, I will keep you posted. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.